show you how to drill them in a bit. So go ahead and make up a bunch. That way you can go home with a bunch and you can leave some here. Today is wall hook day. We're doing several different kinds of wall hooks. When Nathan gets done with some of his, I'll bring them over too. There's quite a bit of forging in one of those if you aren't familiar with it. Yeah, they're in that box right there. I always put the tools back in that box. That way we know where they're at. For all the consumables. Well, I'll let that compressor catch up a little bit. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hello. We're working on wall hooks today, different kinds. I don't have any of them sort of like these. Aiden is working on these right here. Only he's doing plain ones, not the ones with the horse faces on them. I'm getting ready to go to the Winchester Gun Show next month. So I'm working on stuff to fill like these gun racks. And these ones. These are a towel bar toilet paper holder, but they've got this, they all have these shelves on them. Very popular. I actually made them for bathrooms to put your concealed carry pistol on there or your bear spray while you're in the bathroom. And then these are the bridle racks. I designed these for hanging bridles, but they work good for coats, heavy bags. They've got a round part in here to keep you from breaking the crown pieces out of your bridles. But they work good for all kinds of stuff. People come up with stuff that I don't even know about. Oh, this is the bathroom sets. So toilet paper holder, paper towels or towel bar, short towel bar, and then a hook, and that goes as a set. Here's the boot jacks. If you don't know what a boot jack is, I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell you. And then Aiden was working on these the last couple of days. And then a couple of different kinds of wall hooks I do. And then here's the Hartmans. So I'm going to hang some of these up. While I'm waiting for that compressor to catch up, I'm going to go ahead and hang some of these. What I've learned over the years is if you don't have the hooks hanging up, like if you just had this hook sitting on a table, nobody would know what it is. So you have to have some kind of a display where you can actually hang them in order for people to understand what they are. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Let me go see what else I got. Trying to get the back straps gathered up. Back stock. This one needs to be brushed and oiled still. I know that's backwards, it's Cody. It says Cody on it. How about my happy little moose? It's all oiled up. No, he ain't. He needs oil too. When you do your oil, that's what a little bit too like that. we're still in the learning process, so he hasn't quite learned how to finish yet, where he's leaving his little boogers on. And we're gonna have to have a little talk about that, but he's getting it. He's coming along. We'll get it figured out. Live there, Chuck. Watch it. Chuck. We got a little live stream here showing everything, showing everybody the hooks that we're doing. They make a pretty nice little rifle hook. Not this one, because this one's a little narrow, but the way I bend them, they make a pretty good rifle hook. You can wrap that in something to keep from scratching your rifle up, and they work pretty good. So what's up this morning? Anything?
No, just found 20 purses.
20 purses?
Yeah.
Well, women have a tendency. Shoes and purses, as bad as we are with tools and guns.
Some of them still had the price tag on it.
Yeah, I do have a workshop in the mess. Hopefully now that I got a little help in here, we can get some of the workshop mess cleaned up. I'm hoping that's the plan. But this is only, what, day 4? Day 4 or day 5 of him coming in, so it's going to be good. So, I know he's going to be safe, and I know he's not making bad decisions. I think it's going to be good. He seems like good help. So, don't you think, Chuck? I think
so.
Seems like he's pretty smart about stuff. He ain't afraid to ask, and that is a big part of having somebody. I'd rather have somebody ask than just do it and hurt themselves. So, but yeah, there's the wall hooks I'm working on right now, and then I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. I got to do some trivets, so I got to get a piece of material and cut some trivets and lots of stuff. What are you up to today? Filling your dumpster? That's good. That's good. You can tell it's kind of a clubhouse around here. There's kind of everybody in their breath. It's amazing I get anything done because all I do is sit around, drink coffee, and smoke cigars and talk to everybody that comes here. Joel's already been here this morning. Yeah, I had to punch out a rivet for him because he didn't have the tool to punch the rivet out, so I had to do that for him. It's always something. It's always something around here. You back to welding? Are you using my helmet? Do you like that helmet?
Pretty good. It works.
Yeah, that's about a $350 helmet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to get back to it, Chuck.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Okay.
So I can't find the
Can't find what? Right up on top. If you guys are planning on getting into this, there's a couple of tools you really need to have the very first thing. And one of them is one of these bandsaws, these portable bandsaws, and you'll see me use it here in a minute. You can't hardly get along without one. And the way I have this one set up is pretty ideal. And then of course you got to have an anvil and some hammers. But mostly it's knowledge to build your own tools, because you need to really, it's very inefficient to buy your tongs and stuff. You need to learn how to build your own tongs, your own pritchels and punches, and all of that kind of stuff. And really, you should be learning that stuff right off the bat. So here now that I know that he's safe and he's good about wearing his safety glasses and stuff, he'll be building his own tools here next week. So anyways, well, I got to go get a piece of material here. He's running some tools that he's never run before, so he's learning by trial by fire in here. So the material comes in 20-foot pieces, and it's a lot to keep in the shop. So I generally keep them outside, and then I've got a little chop saw that I leave sitting here, and I cut everything there, so it'll fit in the shop. No, you're good. I can run both things with that compressor. It just doesn't keep up very good. It's the problem. So this leaks quite a bit of air, and so whenever I'm not using it, I shut it off. Okay. Because it leaks so bad. But there's a ton of these horseshoes. Like if you're looking for horseshoes to use for the tongues on the hooks, any of these horseshoes in these milk crates you can use up. That's what they were cleaned up for. I had a buddy here last fall come in, and he just randomly started cleaning up horseshoes. So here's where this little bandsaw comes in, pretty nice. So I've got a sewing machine switch on that little saw, and it sure works good for cutting that stuff like that. So I didn't cut them all the way through, I just folded them up, and I don't quite have enough to do 2 trivets there, but I'm going to drill them anyway. So we'll go back over here to Aiden. That makes quick work of those, doesn't it?
Make you get a good hold of it, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm working on trivets. These are the little foldable trivets that I do. The Dutch oven cooking. And I generally do a bunch of it at a time, but I'm just doing onesies, twosies today to fill in some orders I need to do. Can't hear you, what?
Welding's not gonna play great.
No, no.
Nope.
Some of these, Aiden, when you clean them off, sometimes you get a bunch of frost in there and you might have to go back and re-weld them. Because you want to have a pretty good weld on both sides. See how that one's, so you'll have to go in there and knock that frosty out of there. Good way to do that is with that air chip. You can just get in there. Yeah, well you can do that, but you're still going to have to go back in there. A lot of times you can't get that frosty out of there unless you knock it down. Take it out. It's just the nature of these. About 1 in 5 for me, I'll have to remove. It ain't a big deal.
All right, then. Okay.
So this is the one that Aiden's was working on this morning. Just a standard hook. I do mine a little different because I cut the horseshoes off. That way you don't have that big long horseshoe hanging out here, the whole horseshoe. Not everybody has the ability to cut a horseshoe though, so, but they're tricky to weld because of course they're dirt. There's always dirt in them. They're very dirty, as you can see, and you never get all the dirt out. So you got to be pretty selective about what kind of a rod you use to weld them, and then I'll still have to go back and weld every 5th one or something like that. Go back in. So that's the ones that Aiden was working on this morning. Here's the ones I'm working on. Bent railroad spikes. They make a really nice hook, but they're a pain in the butt. You got to heat them up. That's what we're doing. So I generally do two different kinds of finishes. One is the linseed finish that goes on all the hooks and stuff like that. But anything that might be in contact with food, I use beeswax cut with food grade mineral oil. And that's what's in here. Not that anybody's going to be putting a trivet in their mouth, but just to be on the safe side. So what I did there is after I got that built, after I cut it and ground the ends the way I wanted to, I put it back in the forge to re-blacken everything. So you don't have a shiny end and a shiny end. It's just that little extra finish touch, takes a minute. And now I'll have to wait for that to cool down just a little bit because it's way too hot to put that on. Because if you put that wax on there, it just turns to carbon because it's too hot. So we got to wait for the color to go out of the work, and then we'll be able to put it on there. Yeah, how's it going?
This one I put it on one week. I knocked it off.
Yeah, it takes a little fill in with those. As you get more practice, you'll get better at it. It's not that big of a deal. And there's our finished trivet. If you're interested in this stuff, you can find them on the Cody Ironworks Etsy store. There's a link in my bio, or you can just Google Cody Ironworks and it all comes up. Some of this stuff is not available on there, though, because some of it's going to be available only on Aiden's shop.
What? Hi.
I said some of this stuff is only going to be available on your shop when you get it set up,
Oh.
because we're going to do some stuff just for him. Like, I think these will probably only be on Aiden's shop when he gets it set up. But heck, he ain't been here a week. He hasn't been in here for a week, so, and it's only been about 2 or 3 hours a day, so it's going to work out great. So the great thing about these folding trivets is you can fold them up, and they work really great. And then when you're not needing it, they don't take up any room. You can throw them into your Dutch oven. Work fantastic. This is going in the make. So I'm going to show you a trick.
Yeah.
Just a second. So that is some really thin rod that you're using, and this is a good trick for everybody else too. Give me this. So I'm going to show you something. So part of the reason that you fight this when you're back here on this is this rod is really flexy, and so it's really hard to get it to strengthen this like that. So what you do for your initial tacks, as long as you can until this gets so hot that you can't hang onto it, you get a hold of it like this. Pencil or like a TIG rod. And now you'll have a lot better luck striking that if you get a hold of it about like that. And then of course once everything's tacked up, then it ain't a big deal.
Yeah.
But to get that initial tacks in there, see how much easier it is?
Yeah.
It's way harder out here because you get so much flex. So that'll save you a ton of screwing around.
All right.
Let's see how it works out for you. Blacksmith tip of the day. Where's everybody from? Greetings from Cody, Wyoming, the east entrance of Yellowstone National Park. Start your rod back, get it a little hot, so strike back on the edge of the table to get your rod, there, now go. You probably don't have a good ground on your horseshoe. Maybe what we need to do is, just a second. The shit gets built up on the table.
Yeah, and then it gets hard to weld. It's the same thing at the school as well.
So every once in a while, yeah, look at the shit. A flap wheel works really good for that. Carry. those big nuggets on there, you want to grind those down because that will make your stuff not flat. Like you'll get that horseshoe in there with a little cant on it, and then you put this one on here, and they won't be 90 degrees when you put them on the wall, and all your hooks will be cockeyed.
All right.
Try that. That's part of the reason I try to use horseshoes that are tumble, because that helps that too. But that's why I use a stick welder, not a wire feed welder, because a wire feed welder is really, really susceptible to not being grounded good. Hello, everybody. Yeah, if they aren't flat, you need to have them flat, because once you get that hook part welded on there, they're a bitch to get flat again. Well, while Aiden's doing that, I guess I'll go knock some horseshoe nails out of some horseshoes. I'm going to have to get another welder and get a second welding station set up in here. Gee, that'd be a shame to have to buy another welder. Oh, I wouldn't know what to do. What kind of welder do you want?
I've used most kind of welders, both stick and
Miller, Lincoln. I love these little ESOPs. They're fantastic.
yeah. It's a lot better than the school has these giant red clunky ones a lot of the time for the wire feeds, and for the stick welders, they're like 3 times the size of this.
Yeah, they're all 220. This is a little ESOP, but man, that's a good little welder. That sucker's probably run 500 pounds of welding rod.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And 500 pounds of welding rod is a lot of welding rod. Ooh, that sounds better. Ah, look at him go. How's that working for you? Better?
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah. It's all that little shit that you don't realize. All those little tricks that takes you 40 years to learn. Well, do you guys want to see some of the axes that I make? Or some of the knives? You might. I can't really get away with showing the knives online very much because they don't like it, but I can show you the axes. Here's my war club that I made. All of this stuff is going to be for sale in the garage sale this spring. Maybe next month. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of it and start over again. And it's too expensive to ship, so it's going to be at a yard sale it is. The Blacksmith yard sale. Here's one my son did. These are really easy to make. These are used all over the place. This is the style that they do in all over South America and France and Spain. They've got a teardrop shaped eye in them, so they're a lot easier to make handles for in the field if you need to rebuild a handle for one. Here's my shepherd's walking cane. Hickory, if I can get it. Hickory is good. Ash is good. I like doing short handles out of ash. If I can get it, find it. But hickory is probably the best. Some handles, if they're not getting a lot of flex in them, you can use oak. Like on my draw knife handles, a lot of times I'll use oak for those because you're not putting any flex on them on the handle. Just depends on what kind of handle I'm doing. Well, that's probably enough. We're an hour into this deal. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want your grain to be laying in a flexy direction. Grain pointing towards the blade, pointing towards the edge. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to jump off of here. If you're curious about what Aiden and I are building and where we sell it, it's Cody Ironworks. There's a link in my bio. If you get to Cody, stop in the shop. We are going to be doing some outdoor stuff. We're doing the Frontier Festival this next month. Ren Fair and Red Lodge. I'm doing the gun show, the famous Winchester gun show. I'm going to have a booth with all of this stuff set up at the booth. So these are going to be at the booth. This one and the other one of these I have. I'm taking both of them down to the Winchester gun show. So complete with all the hooks and these hooks. So all right, everybody, thanks. Have a great afternoon, and we'll catch you next week. Hopefully I can do some more of these lives. Seems like they work better on the weekend when everybody isn't on the internet.